This is a live look from outside the United States Supreme Court, where protesters on both sides of the abortion issue are demonstrating after today's landmark decision to overturn Roe v. Wade. Thank you so much for joining us here on your 5 News at noon. I'm Laura Simon, and we do start with that breaking news as the U.S. Supreme Court overturns Roe v. Wade, striking down the constitutional right to an abortion. This leaves the decision for states to decide, where a patchwork of policies is already rolling out. The High Court's conservative majority has reversed course on nearly 50 years of jurisprudence. CBS's Skylar Henry has more on this landmark decision.
Demonstrators against abortion rights erupted in cheers after the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade. The mood outside the court highly charged with the release of the much-anticipated ruling.
We don't want to hear cheers about women being slammed back to the dark ages and all of society slammed backwards.
The conservative majority court sided with the state of Mississippi and its supporters in Dobbs v. Jackson Women's Health Organization. With their case, Mississippi officials asked the High Court to eliminate the constitutional right to abortion, first established in 1973.
This is a wonderful opportunity to return this to the people.
According to the Guttmacher Institute, which supports abortion rights, an estimated 26 states were either certain or likely to ban abortion if the High Court overturned or dismantled Roe. The decision here today is the outcome of decades-long lobbying by groups against abortion rights. The appointment of 3 conservative justices during the Trump administration made it a sudden reality.
We've been knowing this was going to go down since Kavanaugh.
The watershed ruling follows an unprecedented leak of a draft majority opinion that sparked protests, including some outside justices' homes. The leak has impacted the High Court from the inside out. Chief Justice John Roberts has ordered a full investigation. Today, Roberts did not join the 5 conservative justices or 3 liberals. He said, in his own opinion, he would have stopped short of ending the right to abortion. Skylar Henry, CBS News, Washington.
Nearly all abortions will soon be illegal right here in Arkansas. We're one of 13 states with what's called a trigger law. It's legislation in place that outlaws abortion in the event that Roe v. Wade is overturned. Arkansas Attorney General Leslie Rutledge has indicated she will certify the court's decision. That will allow the law to take effect. So anyone who performs an abortion will face a felony with a $100,000 fine or at least 10 years in prison. Under this law, the woman receiving the abortion will not be charged. As it's written right now, the only exception is to save the mother's life, but it won't be allowed in cases of rape or incest. There is a lot of reaction to this ruling, as you can imagine, coming in from across the state. And 5 News reporter Tiffany Lee is here now with a look at what abortion rights and anti-abortion advocates are saying. Tiffany?
Yeah, Laura, like you said, a lot of strong reactions as we're hearing from people here locally. Right now, the Family Council is wrapping up the press conference at the Arkansas State Capitol. The conservative organization's executive director called today historic and says that the sanctity of human life will now be protected.
We are grateful to all the people who have gone before us in this effort, those who thought they might never live to see the day that Roe v. Wade would be overturned. But that day has come, and it's a day of great victory, it's a day of great celebration, and it's a day that we should all be grateful for the triumph of democracy.
Parenthood Great Plains, which has a location in Rogers, will hold a press conference within the next half hour. The organization says, given today's decision, it has paused all abortion services in Arkansas. In a statement, CEO Emily Wells says, end quote, "Our services may be forced to change due to cruel bans on abortion care, but our commitment to our patients remains," end of quote. Arkansas Governor Asa Hutchinson, who signed the state's trigger law, he tweeted this after the ruling. In quote, he says, "For decades, I've said that Roe versus Wade was strongly decided. Today, the Supreme Court overturned the abortion ruling and returned the issue to the states. Arkansas is a pro-life state, and we are now able to protect life." Other lawmakers in Arkansas and Oklahoma are weighing in on the court ruling. We're working to gather those reactions. You can find that story on our homepage on 5newsonline.com. For now, I'm Tiffany Lee, 5 News.
Many, of course, will be following this story for you throughout the day. But meantime, the House is also preparing to vote on new gun control legislation, putting it one step closer to becoming law. The Senate passed the measure 65-33, and despite pressure from the NRA, 15 Republicans joined all 50 Democrats, including Minority Leader Mitch McConnell. The bipartisan legislation will enhance gun background checks for people under 21. It sets aside $750 million to give to states that implement red flag laws. They're designed to temporarily seize guns from people who are deemed dangerous, and it closes the so-called boyfriend loophole, preventing someone who's been convicted of domestic abuse from buying a gun.
This bill is a compromise. It doesn't do everything I want, but what we are doing will save thousands of lives.
Democrats had to drop some of their demands to get this bill passed, including a provision that prohibited the sale of semi-automatic rifles to people younger than 21. Some Republicans who voted against it say the bill stomps on the Second Amendment and won't help save lives. Several of the Republicans who voted in favor of this will not be facing voters in 2024.